Welcome to New Gameplay today. I am Kyle Hilliard. We're taking a look at Metroid Prime Remastered. I'm here with Marcus Stewart. What's up, Marcus?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to be looking at one of my favorite games, perhaps ever.
Oh, really? That, okay. All right, cool. Ever, wow. Yeah, what is your history with Metroid Prime?
I didn't play this game at launch because I never owned a GameCube. I was a PS2 kid, but when I got the Wii, I played it there, but it was before they released the remaster trilogy, so I actually hunted down GameCube copies of this and Metroid Prime 2, and, played it through backwards compatibility with the GameCube controller. This probably would have been around like 2007, maybe 2008, and I loved it. The games weren't like ancient by that point or anything like that, but even then I was kind of taken aback at how well it played, especially as a shooter on the GameCube controller, which is a weird controller, It maps so well, and just the combat was fantastic, but it still felt like a Metroid game, even with the perspective shift of like the level design layout, the different upgrades and the ball rolling stuff, but just I don't know if I would say, it's weird, I always go back and forth about whether I like the Prime games better than the 2D games, but I think they're amazing translations of those games, especially for at the time Nintendo not really being known for shooters or anything, retro coming in and being able to turn this into, I think, one of the best shooters of that generation is still pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it's able to function as a first-person shooter, but also feel like a proper Metroid exploration game.
Yeah,
which is impressive.
I also love the soundtrack in this game. It's actually an OST that's in my regular rotation, especially the I think it's the Pandamra riffs. It's like the ice area.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, the music in there is really good. It's very relaxing. But yeah, how is this remaster played? Because obviously it looks pretty sharp, and even the original 2002 game I think still looks remarkably well for being a 20+ year old game. But
it looks great. I wonder, I would love to know how much work went into the visuals, right? What did they change and upgrade, or was it just texture upgrades or what? I don't know, but it looks great. And then it there's a little explanation. The original game functioned as a single stick first person shooter. You would encounter enemies, you would walk around using one control stick, and then you would lock on to enemies to fight them.
Right.
And that is still how the game functions. You can see as I'm encountering enemies, I'm pulling the left trigger to lock onto them. And then the combat is actually a matter of strafing around them, and you can tap the button to sort of do a little jump dash to get out of the way of enemies that shoot you. This guy doesn't, so he's not really a problem.
Yeah.
So it's not really it's not Call of Duty controls. You're not pulling the left trigger to zoom in and get headshots and stuff. You're just locking on to enemies when you encounter them and sort of circling them. And that's cool. It still feels good, but the big advantage of having the modern two control stick shooter controls is just being able to look around more comfortably. It just makes more sense. In the past, you might have had to hold a button to look up into the sky, where now you just look up into the sky, and it works really well, and I really like it.
Yeah, this is one of those NGTs, by the way, where watching you play makes me really jealous, and I'm not playing. And this is a game that I've already played, but it looks so good, and it's just reminding me of how much I just adore this game. If you followed our old video gameography podcast, we did a whole Sorry,
Mike. Lose you there for a second, Marcus. You're just so excited about Metroid, you just can't handle it.
Yeah, and so we did a whole video gameography podcast covering the Metroid series. So I got to gush a lot about this game and just the Prime trilogy. But yeah, I'm so excited just to lay in bed or on the couch and just play a modernized version of this game, because it's something we've been wanting for a while and had been rumored for a while. It's not the full trilogy, which makes me wonder when we'll get remasters of 2 and 3. But
I hope they're on the way, because I've never beaten 2. I've only played the first hour of 2. Because I played and beat 3, and really will go to bat for 3. I like 3 a lot. And then recently, only in 2020 did I actually play Metroid Prime through all the way for the first time. And I actually, rather than like be like, oh, let me jump right into Prime 2, I was like, well, it's the remaster's probably coming. I'll just wait for that. You know?
Yeah.
So I hope that's coming, because that's my my blind spot is Metroid Prime 2.
I feel like you would love to as a huge Zelda guy, because it straight up does Dark World, Light World stuff.
Oh, really?
Like, that's the whole premise of the game, is traveling between 2 different versions of the world.
See, this section right here is so much easier with just standard, like, because you don't lock onto these guys, so
Yeah.
it just makes life easier. You know?
Yeah, you made that look easy. I like that. It's very impressive.
Thank you.
For those that don't know, if you are new to Metroid Prime, the entire trilogy they're all prequels, so they're all set before the first Metroid, which makes them pretty good jumping on points if you care about lore stuff. Obviously, it takes place well before the most recent game, which was Metroid Dread. And with Metroid Prime 4 coming eventually, question mark?
Yeah.
Allegedly, that's still happening. This is a great time to sort of jump on the series and get caught up, which again makes me think that I could see Nintendo pumping out those remasters at a somewhat quick clip, depending on how far away 4 is. Like, maybe all 3 of them are out by the end of the year.
Yeah. I hope so. Yeah, I would love that. That's like the one negative thing I would say about remastered is, like, I kind of wish, and I know it's not as simple as just just throw all 3 games in there, right? Like, it's not that easy, but I would have liked to just get them all in one go.
Yeah. Oh, this looks like the lighting.
Yeah, one
there
thing we haven't touched on. It's like another not weird but interesting element of Metroid Prime is, like, you have this your shooter, it's an action game, but then you can also pull up this, like, scanning visor to, like, scan enemies to learn more about them, or, like, scan elements of the world to see how it works. And it's just like, it's all in favor of just doing really interesting and cool world building.
It's probably I don't know if this is true, but it might be one of the first games that have that mechanic. Like, I feel like now you associate that with stuff like No Man's Sky.
Right.
Starfield's gonna have it, but I remember, like, at least for me, I don't know if I played anything, and even coming to it a few years later, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Like, it kind of is a fun, engaging form of, like, world building and stuff. And I remember I go out of my way to be like, I need to make sure I scan everything in here before I leave, because I want to know stuff.
Yeah, and I think, like, Metroid's always been a game that kind of encourages you to get 100%. Get all the unlockables, become the most powerful, and, like, just scanning everything became another thing that was, like, building you towards that final 100% completion rate, which I think gives you a different ending, like a subtly different ending, I think. Like,
yeah.
Samus, I think, takes off her helmet if you scan everything in the world.
Which is the mystery's a bit all dulled when you can see her eyes pretty well. And, like,
Yeah, I do love that, though. I don't know if it's shown up a lot yet, but, like, especially when you use, like, a charged blast and stuff like that, and you can see the reflection of her eyes in the visor.
Or when she gets hit pretty hard.
Yeah, it's just, we like to commend Dead Space for having,
Diegetic design.
Diegetic, yeah, like UI and stuff like that. But Metroid did it, and did it really well.
It's almost like in a post-MCU world, it's almost like a weird precursor to, like, the Iron Man, like, cockpit view.
Right.
If you look at the screen now, like, you realize, like, the entire HUD is just her helmet. Like, this is what she actually sees.
Yeah.
When she's fighting it. It's kind of like a reverse Iron Man sort of thing. I don't think I've ever thought about it till now.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
is kind of a boss, sort of.
See how you do here. It's just
I'm just kind of, like, locking on to different enemies. Like, you can't really. I guess you could kind of play like that, but that's not. Yeah, that's not how it's designed to be played.
Those fly things are tough.
Yeah, they're just kind of annoying. There we go. Get out.
I also love in this game the rolling around, like, turning into a ball and rolling through all the different pipes. I probably have more fun doing that in these games than in the 2D games, personally.
Yeah. Because it kind of, like, turns it into, like, a weird physics thing a little bit.
Yeah. It's like its
As
own, like,
opposed to
little
just
mini game.
Yeah. You start the game with that, but I did lose it in typical Metroid fashion, where you kind of lose your abilities. How am I doing on health? 64? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you're
I
doing
would
all
love
right.
to at least get the missiles, because I don't know how they work with the new controls.
You gotta blast that thing.
Right? There we go.
I want to play this.
Yeah, you know, it's funny because, like, I think we on the recent episode of the Game Informer show, I even said I'm probably not going to beat it, you know, but, like, I'm happy it exists. But even sitting here and, like, playing it now, I'm like, maybe I do want to keep playing it. I've been playing it on Switch Lite, which is my preferred way to play Switch, and it's like, feels good, man. It feels really good.
It's funny because I have a regular Switch, but I got those like nice Hori pads that replace the Joy-Con, so it's gonna feel even better on those probably.
We got your health. Is that what that is?
Yeah, health tank. There you go. It's funny because I replayed probably this first few hours of this about 2 years ago for video gameography. Like I just dusted off my Wii and played my GameCube copy that I still have. And even then, you know, playing with game controllers, but like, oh man, I could probably still play through this whole game.
I hope it becomes a flashpoint for people who never played it. Like, I hope a lot of people discover it, because I think as much as we do talk about Metroid Prime a lot and are very nice to it and say, like, you know, talk about how great a game it is and stuff like that, I feel like we almost don't give it enough credit. For how good it was, especially at the time it came out, and like really taking Metroid into like a new perspective successfully. Like, that's tough, but they pulled it off, and it's cool.
Yeah, also the cool map system in this game.
Here we go, getting a look at it right now. Yeah, I think maybe they redid Samus's character model, right? In terms of like things that they really spent more time on.
It looks a little more like Metroid Dread or like the more recent ones a bit. Like the Mercury Steam games.
I don't think they changed like the design, but I think they just like maybe that's like one of, I think her ship also might be something that they kind of just redid.
Yeah. I'd have to see her when
it look clean.
She gets the full like kind of Chozo suit. How she looks like that is like burned in my brain, like just the proportions of her body and stuff, like, you know, obviously the giant shoulders and stuff. See how that looks here. But yeah, it definitely looks like the lighting looks better, like right there.
Yeah, I would love. Yeah, I believe. I think I was asking you earlier. It seems like Retro is the one who did the remaster. It's their game.
Yeah.
And I would love to just get a breakdown of like, yeah, this is what we touched, this is what we didn't. You know, like, I'm just curious because it looks so good, and I'm like, man, did it always look this good?
Yeah, runs well too, which I mean, hopefully it should for a 2002 game. But,
but man, you never know with Switch though. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
Switch is weird about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's a pretty good look at Metroid Prime. Just great first impression playing the first hour or so here. Holds up really well. Looks great. Makes me all the more excited for Metroid Prime 4. I hope that development of that game is going well. Yeah, if you've never played Metroid Prime, this seems like a fantastic way to play it. Run, don't walk.
It's $40, right?
Yeah, a little pricey for an older game, for sure. But a good game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, wait, is this? Hold on. I was trying to wrap us up, but I was like, man, maybe I should try to get that Morph ball, huh?
Yeah, kill those
maybe
things.
This is. I don't know. I just want to keep playing, Marcus. You have to cut me off here.
This is an impromptu super replay now.
That's right.
There you go. I mean, we got to get the Morph ball before you wrap up.
All right, let's get the Morph ball.
Just murder these things real quick. Maybe just use your missiles to.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Because I think I can. Okay, yeah. See, I took out like 4 of them at once there.
Oh, this game's so good. Also wild, for people that don't remember or maybe weren't around at the time, this game launched the same day as Metroid Fusion, which is also one of the best Metroid games ever made.
What a crazy time for Metroid. It's wild to remember that. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's like, yeah, I can't believe that they had 2 Metroid games like ready to go
in the 2 different styles of like, you get the best of like both worlds in one day. And you know, it's relevant because, you know, now that Game Boy Advance games are part of the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, and they straight up said that you know, Metroid Fusion will be coming to that library in the future. So, you know, eventually you get to relive that joy of having 2 of the best Metroid games of all time available to jump into.
There we go.
Yeah,
I was
good job.
worried that was going to be more intense than it was. But I guess that's like one of those situations where it's like it takes an enemy and sort of treats it as a boss, but I'm going to encounter that enemy a lot more coming up.
Oh, here we go.
Morph ball mode, baby. Morph ball acquired.
Good job.
Thanks, Marcus. I'm a pro. Yeah, right, you're right. You know, that's an interesting point that it's like, it is more fun in Metroid Prime to go into Morph ball mode because it puts you in third person, which is like unique, right?
It feels good too. Like I always thought the movement of the ball felt nice.
Yeah, and like, cause basically in the 2D games, Morph ball mode is like, you're just crouched kind of and you can move. But here it feels different in a way that's cool.
Yeah, like the sequences with it, like the paths, they're a lot more elaborate in these games. Yeah, they're a blast. I don't know how much more I can praise this game, and it's just making me more jealous right now that I am not playing it.
Well, it is out now, which is the nice thing that we can say. It's out on Switch. It released. They announced it and released it yesterday, which was fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to bite the bullet and and spend the $40.
I know it is pricey. That's the one sort of bummer thing. That's a lot for a game that came out quite a while ago. But I mean, you can look at it right here. It looks good. They did some work on it. You know, it's not just a quick port.
Yeah, I guess the only solace it can bring is like, hey, maybe if this sells well, I'm seeing a direct message to Nintendo like, hey, you should keep making, like, I know the fourth game's coming, but you shouldn't stop there. Keep doing these things.
Like I said, 2 is the one that I really want because I never played 2, so I would love to have an excuse to finally play 2 without having to break out, the Wii or anything like that. Because I do have that trilogy collection, which is nice. I'm glad I have that, but I want it to look like this when I play it. Cool. Well, thanks so much, Marcus, for sitting in and checking out this game. I'm sorry that I've accidentally committed you to spending $40 on Metroid Prime. That was not my intention. But yeah, if you love Metroid Prime, this seems great. If you've never played Metroid Prime, like, absolutely, it seems like a great way to experience the game for the first time. And I'm jealous that you get to do that. Well, thanks, Marcus, for hanging out and checking out Metroid. I appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.